Hello and welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. Today we'll be doing the predictions for game week 24. I have with me my co-hosts Abra Aziz and Zohair Khan. What's up, guys? Abra, how are you doing, bro?
All good, bro. All good.
Chill.
I just hope that Zoe has as the issue that he had to get on this call. I really hope he has those kind of issues in his predictions as well, so he can really goof up, so we can kind of get some like get those points behind us.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the table right now, I think Zoe is on like 119
Yeah, let's not
points.
talk about that.
He's on top. I'm second. Me and you are like 2 points off each other. I think I'm second, you're third, and Ashish is fourth. But Zoe's last 2 weeks he's been in the
Killing
game
it.
properly. Yeah, he's been killing it. And a great game week for him. And Zoe, what's up, man? Good, doing well? Ready?
Honestly, bro, I'm really stressed. You guys know what happened to me right now. This setup took a lot more effort than I thought it would. Clearly, I'm stupid.
No,
Um,
technical issues can happen, but I was more concerned about you taking half an hour for your predictions.
Listen, maybe if you guys took this much time, you wouldn't be doing
Yeah,
so
I think
badly.
we're not
Oh,
prepared.
shots fired.
I think
Shots
that's it.
fired.
That's it. We're not preparing enough. But you guys ready for predictions for this week?
Let's go.
Absolutely, let's do
So
it.
there's going to be some extra games for a few teams. Let's start with the first game: Leicester versus Liverpool. Liverpool in poor form. They need to win this game. Leicester, on the other hand, doing well. I'm not sure about Vardy if he's coming back. I think Abrar was telling me he might come off the bench. But initial thoughts on this game, Abrar, you can take this first.
Oh yeah, you kind of said what needed to be said. I mean, Leicester have been punching above their weight again. Liverpool have just really had a torrid time. The injuries have not helped. Their performances have just lacked that creativity, that lacked that zeal that we've gotten used to seeing with Liverpool. It's going to be difficult, but I think that this is the kind of game that for a champion team like them to kind of come back and show that. I mean, they have to start winning. If not, even top four would be a problem. So I think that they understand that. I think that they'll win this one 2-1.
Going 2-1 to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Liverpool like this kind of games when teams attack, but Leicester, the Leicester can sit back as well. So it's not going to be an easy game for Liverpool. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, for me, it's going to be an interesting game. Liverpool just got smacked around by City, so that's definitely going to be playing on their minds. I think they're going to look to come back from that. But again, Liverpool plays expansive football. It's how they're going to play. It's going to be interesting to see if we see the new center backs that they picked up in the January window. What's his name? Ben Davies and Ozan Kabak, if they're going to play or not. Because even playing one of those guys would allow them to move either Hendo or Fabinho into midfield. I think those guys have done a stunning job as emergency center backs, but you're not getting the best out of them if you're not playing them in that midfield role, right? When it comes to Leicester, their form at home could be a bit better. They're better away for sure. I guess it suits the way that they play. Their most recent games, they drew against Wolves, they won against Fulham. And the last home game that they had, actually, they lost against Leeds. So I think this is going to be pretty open. And for me, I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
Going 2-2. I'm going 2-1 Leicester. Yeah, I just feel they can nick this one. Moving on to the next game, Palace versus Burnley. Done.
I mean, Burnley have really completely rejuvenated themselves since the new year. It's like a new year resolution that they've taken, that they won't be losing games very easily. So they've been doing very, very well. Palace, on the other hand, is I mean, they have the attacking threat, but they've been leaking goals away. And I think that this kind of Burnley side, which will set up very well, they'll find it hard to use their attacking threat over there. I think that this was going to be a 1-0 win to Burnley.
Going 1 Burnley. Zoe.
To me, honestly, man, I think the big things to consider are the fact that Palace is going to be missing Zaha.
Yeah.
So he's their talisman. He's their main guy. And then again, Eze has been stepping up. He's a really good young talent. And it's a question, can the rest of the squad step up? They've been up and down at home. They have 2 wins, 3 losses in their last 5 overall. So very inconsistent team. They have some talent. They should have the ability to, pull off some games. Again, against Burnley, this is a good opportunity for them. Burnley is, coming off a couple of shaky results, but Sean Dyche should be looking to take points over here because he wants to avoid getting into that relegation battle. Burnley are 17th right now. There's a little bit of a gap between them and Fulham, but still, he wants to be picking up points in these sorts of fixtures for sure. I'm going with a 1-1 draw.
A 1-1 draw.
17th. I felt like they were better than that.
Yeah, I think last couple of games they had a few poor results, but they were tough games for them. But apart from that, I agree with Don. They've been doing well. Tough to break down. I'm probably going 2-1 Burnley. I just feel like Zoe said, I think Eze will step up. He might score a goal, but I think Burnley got this 2-1. Moving on to the next game, it's probably the biggest game of the game week. Man City versus Spurs. Man City in great form. Spurs just got knocked out of the FA Cup. They'll be gutted with that. But they have Harry Kane back. We saw his impact immediately in the last game. Zoe, what are your thoughts on this match?
I mean, honestly, man, how can you pick against City in the run of form that they're in right now? Home, away, doesn't matter where they're playing. They've, like, if you look at all their, recent splits, past 5 games, home, away, doesn't matter. It's all wins. They've been racking up goals. They've barely been conceding. Even against Liverpool, the goal that they conceded was, it was a penalty. Like, what are you going to do about that, right?
Yeah.
Defensively, they've been rock solid. Ruben Diaz, John Stones, center back partnership of the season so far. Diaz actually might be injured for this game. He picked up a bit of a knock. He's like a 50-50 to be ready for this game. But even if he doesn't play, they'll just play Laporte. And even though he hasn't hit the same levels of form that he did last season, he's still a solid defender at any given time of the day. Tottenham, obviously getting Kane back is huge for them. You saw in the last game against West Brom, it really did make a difference. Having Kane back makes Son better immediately. Otherwise it's too much of a burden on his shoulders. But again, I don't think that Tottenham are going to be able to do much against City. I expect them to set up conservatively. It's an away game for a Mourinho team. So look for them to be playing 2 banks of 4 with Kane and Son looking pretty isolated up front. But there's always the chance with those two that there's a goal in them on the counter for sure. I'm going to go 3-1 City.
3-1 for Man City. Yeah, and our other co-host is going to make this very quick and sharp. I know.
Yeah, easy prediction, 2-1 to City.
2-1 City. I'm going 2-1 Spurs. City need to win.
I think the fact that Spurs played 120 minutes today as well, and they haven't been rotating that much, will also cause. I mean, they are playing again in 2 days. It's on Saturday. We're like in 2 days, so it's going to be
no rest at all.
And
City
most of the guys.
City are in this zone now, which they were like, I think, a couple of years back. Sorry to cut you off, Don, but like they're in this zone where it doesn't matter who the opposition is, where they're playing. Like Zoe said, they're just going for it. They're like in that kind of zone right now.
Yeah.
No apparent weaknesses right now. So I'm going, but I also go 2-1 Spurs. Moving on to the next game, Brighton versus Villa. Brighton has been very impressive, Don, in recent few weeks. Villa blow hot and cold, but they still, they came out, I think, with the win last game week. So they'll be happy with that. Your thoughts going into this game?
I mean, yeah, I think that these are the 2 teams that have actually impressed me a lot amongst the teams that are not in the top 6. Either these 2 teams have been playing very well. They're playing some good football. They're playing some expensive football. They're playing some football that wins them, grinds those results out. And both of them clearly are in the middle of the table for that reason. I mean, they're not fighting relegation. And Villa was almost relegated last season, if you remember. So they've upped it very, very well. Brighton have been playing very, very well as well. I think that this is a kind of game that's going to be kind of interesting for both of them. I think it's going to be a very tactical battle. So with that being said, I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Going 1-1. Don made a really good point there that Villa are about to get relegated this season. It doesn't look like that. They look like a proper team who are probably going for that top 6 spot, and they just don't look like what they were last season. A massive change. But going into this game, it's going to be a tough Brighton side. So your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Villa's been probably the revelation of the season. They've been playing some beautiful football. Dean Smith's got them on another level, especially considering that the team isn't that far changed from what was basically relegation level team last season. Brighton, finally, we've been talking about Brighton. They always like to play, expansive attack, attractive football, but they haven't been getting the results to show for it. As of late, they've picked up some big results, 3 wins, 2 draws in their last 5 games overall. But especially those wins against Liverpool and Spurs are the ones that are going to give them the most confidence that they can, take points off the big boys and they can play their game. Villa were doing really, really well away. They were one of the 3 teams, United, Leicester, and Villa, that have a fantastic away record. But over the past couple of games, they have slipped up. Their only win, I think, in the last 5 away games has been against Southampton, and that's a Southampton team that's pretty much playing kids off the street at this point in time. But again, also, important to consider that in that last 5 game run, 2 of their losses came against the Manchester team. So that is an understandable sort of, outcome, even if it's not what they're looking for. I'm going to go 2-1 Villa just because I think that they can turn it around against Brighton.
Going 2-1 Villa. I'm probably going to go for 2-1 Brighton.
I feel like you make up your predictions on the spot.
I am making it on the spot. 2-1 Brighton. I actually do. I really like Villa. They're my second favorite team right now. But I think Brighton will make it tough, especially at home.
You're lying. Spurs are.
Yeah. Okay. They're my third favorite team right now. Spurs still second. And then moving on to the next game, Southampton versus Wolves.
Yeah, I think
Don, you can take this. Yeah.
yeah, sorry, I probably jumped the gun on that one, but I
Yeah.
think yeah, like Zoe just mentioned, I think that the injury list that Southampton are facing right now
Yeah.
is just way too much to handle. Although they are playing a Wolves side that is also depleted in some ways, but I still think that Southampton is just struggling way too much. I think the confidence has been shattered with that United game as well. You know, they got beat really badly with that 9-0. So it's really that confidence isn't coming back. I think Wolves will be okay in this game 2-1 to Wolves.
You're going 2-1 Wolves. So
I'm going to take the other side of that equation, 2-1 to Saints. And I think that, everything that Don said is correct because he based it off what I was saying. They've got 5 losses in a row, nothing looking good for them. But that injury list is severe. Same thing with Wolves. But Wolves have been struggling to score, man, regardless of whoever they're missing. Yes, they're missing some big names. Jimenez is obviously a big one for them, but they've been struggling to score all season, even with Jimenez there. And I just feel that they're gonna still struggle to score against the Southampton team. And man, I'm putting my money on Danny Ings, bro. 2-1 to Southampton.
2-1 Southampton. I'm going 2-0 Wolves. You painted a picture about Nuno in the beginning of the season, and I think he liked this kind of game. Inexperienced Southampton side, some weaknesses there, a lot of injuries. I think he'll take advantage of that. And then moving on to the next game, West Brom versus Man United. It pains me to talk about United after that Everton game. It's a very painful game, even though it was a draw, it wasn't a loss. But so any last-minute goals going to happen this game, or how do you see this panning out?
I mean, to me, man, I just feel that, West Brom are pretty terrible, man. The Big Sam revolution has not come in. It has not
Our friend loves Big Sam, man. He's gonna talk about him soon, but he loves Big Sam. He only talks about him. Every time we do predictions, we talk about Big Sam.
I mean, what can I say? But I just feel like, if you look at the form sheet, bro, West Brom have lost 4 out of their 5 games overall. They've been scoring. They haven't been scoring at all. Excuse me. They've been conceding a bunch, but they haven't been scoring. So it's just a recipe for disaster. I feel like this United team, hopefully Edison Cavani's back because this is a sort of game that Martial struggles in. What is going to be the impact of Paul Pogba's injury, especially given the fact that he was just, playing himself into some, a really consistent patch of form. But then you've got McSaw stepping it up and scoring goals for fun. I'm going to go 2-0 United.
2-0 United. Don, do you see Maguire and Lindelof getting exposed against West Brom?
See, this is going to be a very, very difficult test for United. And I'm just joking.
I had a feeling you're going to say that.
No. But here's my thing, right?
It might be. They lost to Sheffield at home.
But that's a one-off. I still think that this should be a very, very easy United win. Having said that, though, I think that this game they'll struggle only because I think that United like to play free-flowing football, and West Brom won't allow it. West Brom will keep fouling cheaply because that's the kind of style that Big Sam plays. He's going to set them up with 10 at the back. He's going to just keep giving those cheap fouls away. He's going to break the United play, and he's not going to give them any time on the counter, which is what United love to do. They like to break teams on the counter, which is going to be a tricky one for them this time around because I don't think that they're going to get any space like that. They're going to have to create a lot. They're going to have to maybe hope on individual brilliance. And if something like a Bruno can actually score something nice or whoever for that matter, Rashford comes up or whatever needs to happen will happen. But I think that's going to be a tricky one, and I'm just going to be on the fence on this one. I'm going to go 1-1 draw.
1-1. Yeah, fair enough. I'm going 3-0 United. I just feel that I think I was thinking West Brom, but like you can't go against United. And secondly, I think at that Everton game, you saw that there was an attacking threat there from Manchester United. So they will have the Bruno score a beautiful goal. It's just that their defense, they need to learn from their mistakes. And I think against West Brom, like Zoe said, they lack a bit of an attacking threat. But I don't know, man. I'm still confused about Maguire. But let's go 3-0 United. That's what I think should happen.
I like the confidence, man.
It should happen, but you never know what's gonna happen with these guys. Arsenal versus Leeds. Don, man, your favorite team versus your second favorite team. Your thoughts?
I mean, I like both teams. There's no doubt about that. Of course, I'm an Arsenal fan, but I like Leeds the way they play football as well. I just feel like this game is going to be a lot of fun to watch, even for the neutrals. I just think because the fact that both teams are going to go for it. I just I think that there's going to be some defensive loopholes that will get found out, I think, in this game. I just feel like this is the kind of game that Arsenal would like to play. When teams like what I was explaining about West Brom as well, when teams settle down and into their shape at the back, Arsenal find it hard to break them. But with Leeds, you always expect them to give you that little bit of space to work with, and that's why I think that this will be a more fun game. I'm going to go 3-2 to Arsenal.
Oof, 3-2 to Arsenal. Zoe, your prediction?
I've got the other side of that equation again. 3-2 to Leeds is what I'm going with. I mean,
Wow.
look, you're gonna have some heavy hitters back for Arsenal, or depending on how they play, Leeds, because it's gonna be Luiz and Leno coming back. So you never know if there's a red card or two in there, what's gonna happen. Partey's still out from injury, and I think he is probably the best player on this Arsenal team at this point in time. Once Oba, recovers his form, we can talk about him. But for now, it's Partey is the main man. But his injury record is terrible. I don't know what your physios do, man, because this guy had a fantastic injury record in Spain, and he's come to Arsenal and he's been injured 4 times.
Seriously, man, yeah, it's a big concern. It is a big concern.
They just get overworked way too much. It's just unnecessary.
I don't know, man. You guys seem to have a penchant, a talent for injuring your own players, should I say? And bro, Leeds are Leeds, man. They're good away. I feel like they play better away because they don't have the expectations of playing at home. Thank God that they're not playing with fans. I feel that makes things easier for them almost. And they're coming off wins against Leicester and Palace that surround a loss to Everton. So that just gives you a quick snapshot of how unpredictable this team is. They have highs, they have lows. And then, Arteta's got Arsenal playing much better than they were at the beginning of the season. There's still a long way to go for them, but they're also coming off back-to-back L's against Villa and Wolves. And like I said, for me, it's got to be 3-2 Leeds.
3-2 Leeds. I'm going 2-1 Arsenal. Yeah. I think both teams will switch momentum.
He's making a bad faith prediction because he doesn't actually want Arsenal to win. He believes in his ability to jinx the result.
That's also true, but I just feel Leeds, like you said, they win 2 games and they lose. So I think that bump will come now. And then Arsenal, on the other hand,
they lose 2 games and then they win 1.
Yeah, and technically, as United fans, we don't like Leeds.
I know we don't like Leeds.
But yeah, I think. But that's the thing. I think the Arsenal have lost 2 games. Leeds have 1. So I just feel it's going to be different this time. 2-1 Arsenal. Moving on to the next game, Everton versus Fulham. Everton coming off a high dawn, beating Spurs just now. Your thoughts going on into this game?
Yeah, I think that will give them some confidence. I mean, scoring 5 goals against a side that just probably only defends. I mean, they don't know much else because Mourinho only makes them defend. I'm just messing again, but I think they'll take confidence out going off of after that win. That's for sure. And I just think that Fulham, man, I mean, although they've been getting some draws here and there, they just I'm sure Zohair will kind of explain a little bit more in detail of what he thinks of Fulham because he loves that team a lot. But I'll leave it to him to do all of that. I just feel like Fulham will not have too much of a threat for this Everton side because especially after the confidence that they'll be taking after beating Spurs today. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Everton.
2-1 Everton. Yeah, so Fulham, they were playing well, but now last couple of games, they're struggling to find that form again. And the problem is the games they played well, they got a point. They didn't go for the 3 points. So that's going to be an issue for them. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much nailed it, right? Like, even though they've pulled off a couple of good results, they're coming off 4 consecutive draws away from home. They're not scoring. They might draw 1-1, they might draw 0-0, but they're not scoring, and that's been a problem for them all season long. I'm glad that they've been able to put together some results, but I don't think that they need to be doing more. They're in the relegation zone. They need to pick up some wins. I was talking about earlier how they're just a couple of points off Burnley, so they need to swap places real quick. Everton, it's going to be interesting. Though they played well today, they won against against Tottenham 5-4. Excuse me. Dominic Calvert-Lewin might be out. I think he picked up a hamstring injury, so let's see if he ends up playing or not. And Everton are a much better team when he's playing. Obviously, Richarlison is there. He's a good player. He is capable of shouldering that scoring burden. But they play better, especially with the way Carlo likes to set up in a 4-4-2. Or at least 2 players up front. It really does make a difference. It splits that burden, and it creates a nightmare for opposition defenses to actually play against two effective strikers. They're both strong, they're both quick, they're both reasonably technical, and then obviously the vertical threat of Calvert-Lewin. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Everton win, but I think these are all things to consider that'll make things harder for Everton than they need to be.
Yeah, Calvert Lewin was just getting into form. And, that would be, uh, yeah, that's kind of a drawback for them. But I still feel 2-0 Everton. James is also getting into rhythm. I think Carlson will step up, so I'm going 2-0 Everton. Moving on to the next game, West Ham versus Sheffield. Don, West Ham, again, they're looking very good this season. Sheffield just hasn't been this season. Going into this game, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think along with the Villa and Brighton, I think West Ham have impressed me most amongst the teams that have in the bottom half last season have really picked it up this season. And Sheffield, on the other hand, finished in the top half last season, and they're struggling at 20th, right? I was struggling at 20th right now, which is quite surprising. But I don't know what it is with Sheffield. I've really not been able to figure it out. Was it recruitment? Was it just the team losing out the pace? I just don't know. But I think that West Ham will be too hot for them. 3-1 to West Ham.
So.
I mean, I think it's interesting, man. I think you really need to consider the injuries that West Ham are suffering right now. Yarmolenko went out injured in the FA Cup game against United. Antonio is already injured, so who's going to play up front, right?
Yeah.
If Antonio is able to come back, obviously it puts them in a much better situation. He is probably their best player. And it's just something to consider whether they're going to be able to replace that goal scoring threat if neither of those guys are playing, right? I'm looking forward to the game just because I want to see Jesse shine, continue his good start. Moyes has got the Hammers playing really well, so that's also something to consider. And Sheffield's last away win was against United. Wilder's got them playing better defensively. They're harder to break down, but at this point in time, that's still not enough for them. They need to be going for the win. They need to be going for at least a draw. And I don't know if they have the necessary talent to achieve those results. But in the pursuit of points, I feel that they're going to lose 2-1 to West Ham.
You're going 2-1 for West Ham. I'm going 1-0 West Ham. I think you made really good points there about injuries as well and stuff. So West Ham, and they struggled to break Fulham as well, West Ham, and then they lost to United. So with Antonio missing, that scoring threat will also go. So I agree with you there. I'll go 1-0 West Ham though. Moving on to the next game, Chelsea versus Newcastle. Chelsea, getting that new manager bounce. Tuchel doing a good job here. They're playing against Newcastle. They will be expecting to win this game. Your thoughts?
Absolutely, man. I mean, the question is, can Tuchel keep this Chelsea renaissance going? He's had a couple, he's put together a couple of good results. I think it's 1 draw and 3 wins over his last 4 games. Chelsea conceded the first goal under Tuchel last time around, and even that was a Rudiger own goal. So, they're looking revitalized, man. Even Werner looked like he's, picking up some semblance of form. He at least picked
getting those assists.
Getting those assists. So, even if he's not scoring, at least he's contributing, somewhere, somehow. Obviously, Chelsea fans and the manager are definitely going to want a lot more from him and Havertz. But I think that, if anyone, Tuchel is going to be able to get something out of them. And then, we got to also look at Newcastle. They have the talent to be better than where they are in the standings right now, but they just haven't been able to perform up to potential. Steve Bruce's boys have picked up wins against Southampton and Everton, but this is going to be a much tougher test to play against this Chelsea team that seem to have found, their belief in themselves once again. The last couple of games of Lampard's reign, you could see that the players didn't believe in the manager, didn't believe in the tactics, didn't believe in themselves. And now, whether it's new manager bounce or whether it's, Tuchel really being able to make that much of a difference, they look like they're believing in themselves. So I think that they should come away with a comfortable 2-0 win.
2-0 for Chelsea.
Damn it. I have a 2-0 as well. I agree with most of his points, but you know what?
Don't change it. You always change it, and then that's why you don't go.
But I need to change it because I don't want to be Zoe's predictions. Because if I get Zoe's predictions, then there's no point. Because
at least you copy 1 or 2. At least you'll get like 3-6 points when I get closer.
But he keeps going ahead of me. I want to catch on to him.
Go for it. No, go for it. Go for it. I'm just saying because if you copy 1 or 2, it's not going to do you any harm. It might just benefit you.
Fair enough.
At least you'll overtake me.
I'm gonna go 2-0. I'm gonna continue with that 2-0. I think he pretty much nailed all the points. There's nothing much more that I need to add to that. I think I'll stick to the 2-0 at this point.
So I had 2-0, but I'm changing it to 3-0.
Oh, that's why you asked me not to change it.
No, I actually feel it's going to be 2-0, but yeah, bro. Zo got all the points right. I think he covered the whole game for us. It's just a matter of 1 goal or the other. It'll be interesting if it's 2-0 and last minute they get a chance if they score that. That'll be interesting for this kind of game for us. But yeah, moving on to the next game, Burnley versus Fulham.
Yeah,
Done.
we've already spoken about both these guys.
Yeah, so these are the two extra games
two
coming
extra
up.
games
Yeah.
in the
That's
game.
it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go 1-0 to Burnley because I just want Burnley to do better, and I don't want them to get relegated. That's all.
Yeah. So are you gonna give us a detailed analysis on this game?
Do you want one?
No,
Sure.
but I think the gist of it would be like they're both tough to break down, but Burnley with the advantage, I'm guessing.
No, actually, I'm going 1-1 draw, man. I think that they both really need the points, and they're both going to try and play for the win. But I don't know if they have the talent to negate each other in that way. So I think it's going to be 1-1.
I kind of feel that you underestimate Burnley, to be honest with you. They played really, like, they've got some really good results and they played some good football.
Listen, I spent half the season underestimating Fulham. Now it's the second half of the season. Let me underestimate Burnley.
I'm going 1-0 Burnley.
Oh,
you said 1-0?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I think you're smart. 1-0. 1-0 Burnley.
No, thank you so much.
Moving on to the last game of the game week, Everton versus Man City. We discussed both these teams, but then now they'll be pitted against each other. I think both these teams, what's going to happen in the previous game, it'll probably, kind of affect this game. But Don, if you want to just look at this.
Yeah, I mean, I think City, like Zoe mentioned when he initially spoke about it as well, they have a huge squad, so they keep rotating their players, so they have no real issues of kind of burnout. But with Everton, I think they just played 120 minutes today. They're going to play again in a couple of days, and again after that in a couple of days. So they're gonna burn out a lot. And even in today's game, there were hardly any guys on the bench. With the Calvert-Lewin also now looking susceptible, this is going to be tricky for them. So I think that is going to be a comfortable City win, 3-1.
3-1 to City, and Don, if they win these two games, the title's theirs, I think, man. But it's
pretty much theirs.
Because these are not easy games. Everton and Spurs, they're not easy games. But
I think so. But it's just pretty much theirs to lose. Even if they do have a hiccup here and there, I still think that it's theirs to lose. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, with Liverpool really getting off the pace, and with United, they have their days. They can have a 9-0 win, and then they can really mess it up with 3-3 as well. So United is not consistent enough to be a title challenger at this moment in time. So I think it's really City's to lose.
Yeah. So
2-0 City, man.
2-0 City. I'm going 2-1 Everton. I think that wraps it up. Zoe, just to end this, I want to tell you, Tushar's listening to you, man. He's using that Rooney Tevez combination with Giroud and Werner. So he's listening to you. So, yeah. So and it worked. So it's good, man. I don't know.
Quite nicely with that.
Pass his number to me, and Don will try to get him on the show because you.
I mean, listen, man. I mean, I think if anything, Sheffield should hit me up.
It was great fun, guys. Any last thoughts?
No, man, I spoke a lot, man. I'm done. I'm tired.
Some very good detailed analysis there. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll catch you right after the game. It was a good break between these two game weeks. So let's enjoy this weekend. And take care, guys.
Take it easy, man.